This video is called Jumpin' Jack Flash, a Witch's Child. So what I'm doing here is, after I did the Witch's Child video, I'm making a video giving you an example of a witch's child. Jumpin' Jack Flash is a song by the Rolling Stones from 1968. It was put on an album called Liver Than You'll Ever Be. The song starts with, "I was born in a crossfire hurricane." No one can literally be born in a crossfire hurricane. There is no crossfire in hurricanes. This term refers to a very violent birth, the kind of birth that has been purposely done to a witch's child. "And I howled at the morning driving rain." My best guess is that he was raised like an animal. Howling is something that dogs do. He was raised like a dog, like a poorly kept dog. It also indicates that he was put outside in intense rainstorms. The third line goes, "But it's all right now. In fact, it's a gas. But it's all right. I'm Jumpin' Jack Flash. It's a gas, gas, gas." That's actually the chorus part that goes throughout the song. So that's the, first it says, "I was born in a crossfire hurricane." Then it says, "And I howled at the morning driving rain." Then it goes to the chorus, "But it's all right now. In fact, it's a gas. But it's all right. I'm Jumpin' Jack Flash. It's a gas, gas, gas." He's saying that his soul is dead now. So no worries anymore. It's all right now. And that he's just having fun now. Gas is an older slang term that means a lot of fun. The third line says, "I was raised by a toothless, bearded hag." A hag is an old, ugly witch. She was so old that all of her teeth were gone. She was a toothless and bearded hag. Ancient witches developed secondary male traits, like beards. She was probably soulless. She was probably not his real mother. His mother may have been forced to breed for the witch, or kidnapped while pregnant, or he may have been sold to the witch by the birth mother, or he may have been a stolen child. The next line says, "I was schooled with a strap right across my back." This is indication of overall, long-term, and very violent, scarring child abuse. Straps on backs were never meant for children and have often killed even grown men. The next line says, "I was drowned. I was washed up and left for dead." Drowning to get demons to inhabit the child as the soul leaves is common. This may have been done to him many times, or perhaps it worked the first time. The next line says, "I fell down to my feet and I saw that they bled." While falling from being horrifically abused, he happened to notice also that his feet were bleeding. This remark is a side note. It is a side note to the overall horrors that he experienced. So bleeding feet is nothing compared to what he had been through. The next line goes, "I frowned at the crumbs of a crust of bread." He was habitually starved. He went hungry and was barely fed. The next line says, "I was crowned with a spike right through my head." This is another attempted murder to get the demons in as the soul leaves. This level of abuse had to cause extreme brain damage. This may have been what finally killed him and reanimated him as a demon-filled serial killer. In London in the 1800s, there was a famous demon that terrorized, kidnapped, raped, and killed people. They called him Spring-Heel Jack. In the same era, but just a little later, another serial killer showed up in London. They called him Jack the Ripper. They are probably the same person. Either he said his name Jack to people, or people knew to refer to him as Jack because it is a slang devil name. One of Spring-Heel Jack's traits is that he could fly. He was reported to have wings and a cape, or wing-like cape. He's very often depicted with a cape, or always depicted with a cape, because he was drawn back in the 1800s. He was drawn in many magazines. He was drawn in magazine covers, in fact. And his motion was described as being bouncy, as if he had springs on his feet. I saw him. I had been driving for a long time and I needed to walk and stretch my legs. So I pulled over to the side of the interstate and walked a little down the side of the road. On both sides of the road was dense Mississippi forest. I turned to walk back to my vehicle and I spotted something moving on the edge of the woods. I looked and saw a male-type demon watching me. The look on his face showed great fascination. I immediately knew it was not a safe being and I told it to stay away from me and my family. He moved very fast and he seemed like his feet were springy but also very fluid. It wasn't a jarring motion, it was very, very fluid and very, very fast. Very fast up and down and very fast sideways, all at the same time. He had a very blue cape that was attached to his body, and he used it to move quickly. And he used it to conceal himself as well. He showed me his face and then he hid his face. The color was something supernatural, too blue for natural. But I knew it wasn't a human, so I knew not to get curious. If you get curious about these beings, you're giving a level of consent to engage. That's how things can get ugly and very dangerous. Never look at them out of curiosity, because it is a type of consent. What I remember the most is his fascination with me, the incredible blue of his cape, and his very fast and very fluid motion. Nothing natural can move like that or look like that. One day, about a year later, I saw someone with a video on YouTube called Spring Hill Jack, and I wondered if that could be something similar to what I saw. Then I found the history on him, and it was definitely him. All reported encounters match what I saw.